another episode of COVID Baking. Today we're gonna make a very ambitious thing. We are gonna attempt to make almond croissant. First I'm gonna make the normal croissant dough, and then you can choose to make panda croissant or just a chocolate croissant or a almond croissant, whatever you want. It does take close to 17 hours, so we're gonna be in it for the long haul. Buckle up. Step one, I'm gonna get all my ingredients together, but what basically I'm attempting to do is create the dough, keep it cold, roll it out, create multiple folds so that you get that flaky, crispy, layered aspects, and then leave it overnight to basically rise in a slow rise in the fridge. And then in the morning, I will shape the croissants into little triangles, roll them, and bake them. So ingredients-wise, it's actually pretty straightforward. You need 500 grams of strong white or wheat bread flour. I'm using wheat bread flour because that was the pastry flour that I got. It's actually pre-sifted, so it's super fluffy. 10 grams of salt plus an extra pinch for the egg wash. 80 grams of caster sugar, 10 grams of instant yeast, 300 grams of chilled unsalted butter, preferably like a high quality Normandy butter, 300 milliliters of cool water, and 1 medium egg to actually glaze the croissants. So first things first, I'm going to get my flour into a bowl, and I'm gonna get my salt and sugar together and my yeast together. Okay, so I have all my ingredients together. I've got 500 grams of strong white bread flour, or I'm using wheat in this case. Ideally something that is sifted or good for pastries. I've got 10 grams of salt plus 80 grams of sugar in this little mixture here, which I'm gonna add to one side of the bowl. Then I've got my 10 grams of instant yeast, which I'm going to add onto the opposite side of the bowl so that they don't ever touch. And then I'm actually going to slowly add the water. I have my dough hooked into my mixer here. And I'm going to slowly add my water. Now I'm gonna add probably, I don't know, 3/4 of it. And let it just sort of incorporate all the aspects. Should actually have a pretty stiff dough. All right, so I've added all of the water now at this point, and I'm gonna go basically on a slow speed for about 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna shift to a medium speed for 6 minutes. So total time would be about 8 minutes of mixing. 2 minutes of that is in a low speed, 6 minutes in the high speed. Okay, so I've turned my dough out onto a well-floured surface. I'm gonna shape it into a ball. I'm gonna put it in a saran wrap or in some sort of Tupperware. And I'm gonna leave it in the fridge, covered in plastic, for 1 hour. All right, we are back with our croissant. So my dough has been hanging out for about an hour in the fridge. What I've done is I've gone ahead and start to roll out my butter. Now I need it to be chilled enough so that I can actually make a rectangle with the butter. This is by far the hardest part. As I've never made it before, I'm just gonna do my best to make a rectangle. I recommend actually sort of slowly doing it and then putting it back in the fridge and then letting it get cold again and then reshaping it, because at any point you really don't want it to get too soft. You want it to stay chilled. So I'm just sort of rolling it out. I want it to be about 1 inch thick so that I can put it onto my pastry dough. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go get my pastry dough and roll that out as well into a small rectangle. Okay, so I've rolled out my dough into a rectangle, and what I wanna do is basically treat the dough like in thirds. And I want to do a layer of butter here that I then can roll out and flip on itself. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see this, but I did one layer and then I folded one tip over. And then I did another layer of butter and then I folded the third tip over. And now I'm going to roll this out. Hopefully none of the butter comes through. And if I'm worried that my dough is too soft, then I can just throw it in the fridge for a couple minutes and that will really help me roll it out. One single turn, and then I'm gonna put this guy back in the fridge to let it chill for another hour, and then I'll continue to do the folds. Okay guys, we're only on fold number 2. We have a total of 3 folds. So we've already done 1 set of folds. We're gonna do another 2 sets. So twice more of this. So I'm gonna pull out my dough, I'm gonna make my rectangle and do some folds and put it back in the fridge. I'm gonna do that 2 more times. My 3rd out of 4 folds. Wow, this is quite the arduous process. All right, so I've got my dough here. Been chilling, literally. And I'm gonna go ahead, and you see how it is already in a rectangle shape. I'm just gonna go ahead and just put a little bit more flour on it. I'm just gonna use that shape to my advantage and go ahead and just roll it out and oh, I have to give a shout out to Hillary. She helped me pick out this really beautiful rolling pin. Truth is, I wouldn't be able to make croissants using my shitty little rolling pin that I had before, which was an Nalgene bottle. Okay. Okay guys, we made it to the final fold. Only 4 hours later. Okay, so I'm gonna do what I've been doing again, right? So I'm going to basically roll this out into a rectangle, do 2 folds, and then I will essentially leave this in the fridge for about 8 hours. So it will rise. I'm gonna leave it for a little bit longer actually because I don't plan on waking up at 6 a.m. But you do you. So I have my triangle again. Or sorry, I keep saying triangle. Well, croissants are made from triangle, I think that's why. Okay, so I have my rectangle. I'm gonna put it in the fridge. I am either gonna put it in a clean plastic bag or just wrap it in saran wrap. Either is fine, and it's gonna slightly rise in the course of 8 hours or so. And then in the morning, I'll roll them out to the shapes of croissants and cook them. See you in the morning. Okay, so I've cut them into horizontal strips. And then each strip turns into 4 triangles. Does that make sense? All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that downwards. So show you how to roll the croissant once you have this. Now I'm actually going to wait to do this because I need to put marzipan on it. But essentially what you're going to do is pull it taut and then roll from the fat end in. I'm sure many of you Okay, to make almond croissants, I have this pre-made marzipan, frangipane, which I'm just going to roll out really thin. In fact, I'm not going to use all of this. Probably use like half of that. I'm going to roll it out really thin, and then I'm going to do a layer of this stuff before I roll. Take a little bit of my marzipan, put it in here on my triangle, and then I just go ahead and I roll, and there you go. So I actually have a pre-lined baking sheet over here. All right, so now I'm going to cover these bad boys for 2 hours with plastic bags and let them rise, and towards the end of that I will preheat my oven to 400, and then I'll cook them for about 15 minutes. See you in 2 hours. All right guys, so it's been about 2 hours. They were rising in some plastic bags and they've doubled pretty much in size. They've gotten massive at this point. They're big and fluffy and airy. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually beat 1 egg to do a little wash on top of the croissant. So just going to do a little egg wash on each one, make them all shiny and crispy. So once I've done all of them, I'm going to pop them in the oven at 400 for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're golden brown. All right, let's see the final product.